This is Investor Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhouse, CEO of Investor Schooling.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you live from the Investor Schooling Studios. I am Larry Steinhouse and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing, stock options trading, and so many other things about money I bet you didn't even know. Hey, you can call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right. We're a live program, so you can call anytime during the show, and we will take your calls. Don't worry about what we're talking about because we'll take your calls and we'll answer your question or talk to you about anything you'd like to talk about. If it has to do with real estate, it has to do with stock options, it has to do with the stock market, cryptocurrency, anything, just give us a call, 855-939-1137. At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money in taxes, how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown bypass, right off Route 95, serving the New Jersey and greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar building. Our students are also located in several states with our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. Get ready to learn this business, the business of entrepreneurship, real estate investing, stock options trading, and you'll learn it from those who do it every day. All right, welcome to Investor Schooling Live with your friendly neighborhood financial expert, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. And by the way, I happen to be here with our marketing director, Paul Marturano. Say hi, Paul.
Hi, how's everybody doing out there? It's Paul Marturano, the marketing director at Investor Schooling. Here at Investor Schooling in a brick and mortar building, but it actually has vinyl siding, I think, Larry.
Well, yeah, but brick and mortar is kind of like an expression.
I know, I'm just kidding around.
But, I do that whole thing again. That was pretty good.
Did you like that?
Yeah,
that was my radio voice. You like that?
I like your radio voice.
Hey, it's Paul Marturano, the marketing director of Investor Schooling, where we teach you how to be financially free.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Now you know why. Again, now you know why he's the marketing director.
That's right.
Because he can speak like that.
Exactly.
Hey, by the way, if you're listening to this show, call in 855-939-1137 and let us know if you heard any of our new commercials. Because, Paul wrote them all.
I did. No, I didn't
I
write
wrote them all. But
you wrote them. I voiced some of them.
I know. You voiced some of them. But I'm just having a little bit of fun, and I'm saying, hey, I want people to give you kudos for writing them. So 855-939-1137, give us a call. By the way, we got some people online. We're also live while we do this show, live on WPHT in Philadelphia. We also do it live on TikTok, not TikTok. We do it live on Facebook. We do it live on LinkedIn, and we do it live on YouTube and Twitter. So if you're watching online, please say hi. We love it when you say hi. I see Carrie saying hi, so thank you, Carrie, for listening. All right. So what do you want to talk about today, Paul? You came on the show. You said, I want to be on the show. I want to be a radio star, at least for the day.
I already am a radio star.
That's right. You actually have a show. He has a show on another station. I have a show on another station, too. But you want to talk about something that has to do with real estate or stock options?
Well, actually, I was out looking at a couple houses yesterday.
That's right. Why don't we talk about that? That's actually what you said to me, because I forgot.
You forgot something, Larry?
Yeah. Who are you again?
I don't know. If you could tell me, that would be helpful.
Aren't you Steve?
Yeah.
Steve.
I'm Steve, the
Steve,
assistant CEO of Investor Schooling.
Steve Maraschino or something like that?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever you want to call me.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right. So, Paul, you were looking at a house yesterday.
I was out looking at some,
and that's actually a really good conversation. So just to give you a little bit of preface, of course, Paul is not only the marketing director here, but he's also was a student. He came in. Almost all our employees start out as students,
right?
And then they came to work for us because they love me. They think I'm the greatest employer ever, right?
Oh, absolutely. Larry Steinhouse is the greatest employer ever to walk the face of the earth.
Well, that's got to be true if I could keep guys like you.
That's
and
right.
even Mike in our production room,
That's
right?
right.
Mike Kiefer, is it Kiefer? Did I get it right? Kuiper? Keeper? What the hell's your name?
It's Kuiper.
Kuiper. I never get his name right.
Mike brought his girlfriend with him today.
I
What
know.
employer lets you bring your girlfriend to work?
Yeah, right. Mike brought his girlfriend to work. Say hi, Jess. Hi. See that? She says hi from the control room. So Kuiper, Mike Kuiper,
right,
is also. Do you like it here, Mike? Do you like working here?
Yeah, it's all right.
Man, I got. Yeah, it's all right. And then I got Paul being sarcastic about how great it is.
It is.
Well,
great.
you know,
look, it
we're
is
pretty
great.
soon-
I wouldn't
just
be
so-
here if it wasn't great.
Just so you know, pretty soon the economy is going to be so bad that you guys are going to be
That's
so
right.
glad you have jobs. So keep it in mind.
You know what? I do keep that in mind because the economy is trashed right now, and it's getting worse. It is
I know,
definitely
really.
getting worse.
Hey, hold on. Before we go into your story, we got Peter in Philly. What's going on, Peter?
Hello, Larry.
Yeah, what's happening, man?
Yes, love your show. I remember Phil was talking one time about Tampa's growing, and he also talked about Erie, Pennsylvania. He thought it was undervalued, underrated. They have a lake there. And my question basically, which would be a better city to invest, Erie, PA, over there on the outskirts, or York, PA?
So you want my real answer? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
Bottom line. You're a bottom line.
It doesn't matter. So bottom line is, I don't care if you invest in Oshkosh, Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania, Bucks County. I know is there an Oshkosh,
I
Pennsylvania?
think you're thinking of Oshkosh. I think is that Wisconsin. Oshkosh.
Yeah, I'm just making it up.
I don't know.
I'm making it up.
All right.
So here's the
Well,
thing.
it depends on the Larry.
Yeah.
Hello, Larry.
Hello, Peter.
I agree with you. Yes.
Good, Peter. I'm teasing you.
Hello.
You threw him off.
No.
Good, Peter. Speak.
Who?
You, Peter. Good, speak.
Larry, Larry, I agree. It depends on the deal.
Yep.
However, Pennsylvania is ranked 47th out of the top 50 states as far as growth, etc., meaning it's still a depressed state.
Well, that's because we got Governor Wolf here.
Correct.
But here's the deal,
Correct.
Peter. It doesn't matter who the governor is, and it doesn't matter where you invest. I mean, look, unless you're a builder and you're going to build 1,000 homes in an area, I wouldn't really worry about the area or the location at all. I would worry about the deal. I mean, I don't care where the deal is. If I'm got, you say, Peter? Okay.
No, I heard what you said. It depends. It depends upon the deal.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you. Do you have your radio on behind you?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. 'Cause there's-
But Larry,
Yeah.
Larry, we love you. We're from New York. We got the same blood.
yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. What part of New York are you from?
I'm from downtown.
Downtown?
Downtown New York. The people from downtown New York rule everything. They
You in
took
the
over
village?
Hollywood. The boys took over Chicago, and you got a lot of people coming into Philly, but the prices are too inflated. You know that.
Oh, yeah, sure. So where you calling from New York now?
I'm calling from the great state of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? You're calling from a communist. You're calling from the communist city inside the communist
I am.
state.
Yes, I am.
Hey, are you wearing a bulletproof vest while you walk the streets over there?
Well, put it this way. Thank God for the Second Amendment. As what's his name said in Judicial Freedom, if it wasn't for the Second Amendment, we would not have a country.
Well, that's very true. And if you hopefully you're wearing a bulletproof vest and you're carrying when you walk down the street of Philly, because I won't go there anymore. I'm done. When they get rid of that idiot Krasner, I might go back into Philly. But until
Right.
then, I don't want to be the one.
You're right.
I don't want to go into the police station and say I was robbed, and they laugh at me and go, "Sorry, there's nothing we can do about it."
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
So that's why I don't invest in
let's
Philly
do
anymore
everything
either.
we can. Let's do everything we can, okay, for the great Mr. the next governor, the great Mastriani.
Mastriano.
That other schmuck.
Can you
I mean,
say
that
schmuck
guy's
on the
got
radio?
no mouth. He's got no mouth. I mean, I don't know how people vote for him except those dead Democrats.
Well,
Thank you.
Hey, Peter, you're like awesome, man. Have you ever been to our class?
Listen, no, but I'm gonna go because I want to meet you, Larry.
I want to meet you too. So go to investorschooling.com.
I want to, Larry. As we manifest, we want to give you regards from Christopher Walken.
Go ahead.
I'm serious.
Tell me all about it. Is Christopher there? Go ahead.
All right. Listen, Larry. So I'll try to come to another meeting, but I'm going to need somebody to help me drive. If you know somebody who is going there from Philadelphia, I can carpool with them or whatever.
So
Have,
you ready?
have Christopher Walken bring you.
Or just go to your
No,
phone
he's coming.
and type in Uber.
He's definitely coming.
Type in
It's
Uber.
manifest destiny.
Come on, Frank. I mean, Peter. Go to Uber and get a lift from Uber,
Okay.
or
okay.
one of your boys from Brooklyn.
No, we don't need Brooklyn.
All right,
All
Peter.
right, listen, Larry. Larry, we're definitely going to meet. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Listen, make sure you tell me when you're coming, so I make sure that that
Okay.
I get sick that day.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm looking forward to it, Peter. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
All right.
You made the show
Likewise,
fun.
Larry.
Everybody in their car just now turned their radio up. I want you to know that.
What'd you say?
I said everybody in their car listening to this conversation turned their radio up and go, I thought this was supposed to be a financial show. What are these guys talking about?
Well, you know why? Listen, everybody loves Christopher Walken. Even he invests in real estate.
Yes, he does.
That's right.
That's why he's rich.
All right, Larry, forget about it.
All right, man.
All right, Larry. Good talking to you. I'll see you soon.
Take care. Looking forward to it. All right. And if anybody else wants to meet Christopher Walken, come to Investor Schooling this week.
I think that was Christopher Walken. I think that was Christopher Walken calling into the show pretending
He was Peter?
Pretending he was Peter.
Because the last time we had Doug Mastriano call in, we got in trouble. So I told Doug if he ever wants to call again, he has to pretend he's somebody else.
Okay.
So maybe that was Christopher Walken.
Maybe
saying,
that was Doug
pretending he was-
Mastriano pretending he was Christopher
Peter.
Walken pretending he was Peter.
Right, but he didn't even know how to say his name, so I don't think so.
That's why he did it. He purposely mispronounced his name.
Yeah, and just to mess up
That's right,
everybody
just to
over at
mess up.
PHC. Hey, Doug Mastriano, if you're listening, call in and pretend you're Christopher Walken, okay?
So Erie, Pennsylvania, or York, Pennsylvania?
Doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter. It matters about the deal.
The deal is always the thing that matters.
Which is brings us back to yesterday. I went to
Oh
look
yeah,
at
you were
this
talking
house,
about your deal. I forgot.
which I thought might have been a deal, but ended up possibly not really quite
All right,
being
so
a
let's,
deal.
without giving the address, why don't we
Right.
talk a little bit about the deal?
Right.
So tell me about how you found it on.
Right.
You
I
found it where?
found it on Realtor.com, which
Okay,
I was
great.
I was surprised because I was just browsing through and it looked like it was priced at $235,
Right.
and you could tell that it needed some work.
And how much now, when you priced it at $235? How much were the comps? Now it was beat up.
Right.
I saw the
It was
pictures.
beat up, yeah.
It wasn't in bad shape. It was just beat up. It needed
Right.
everything. It needed everything from paint to carpets to
Sure.
kitchens to bathrooms. Right. Everything. It needed all. I
And
think the siding outside needed to be done. I can't remember.
No, the siding didn't need.
How
to
about
be
the roof?
done. Roof would probably need to be replaced
Windows?
soon. Windows, there was only one that needed to be replaced.
All right. So you saw it for $235.
Right, and it was actually the comps in the area were up around 310. So I thought, okay, maybe there's some equity in this deal, and rents would probably rent for above 2,000.
Okay. Great.
So I went through with one of our students.
One of your
actually,
students who's a contractor.
Who's a contractor who's a wonderful guy, Bill. And we went through it. We took a look, and I mean there was some stuff you could have gotten away with, maybe just redoing the floor, slapping some paint up, and renting it out without replacing the kitchen. But if you want, the kitchen definitely needed upgrade. The bathroom needed upgrade if you wanted to upgrade it for
Sure.
I guess the actual value in the house.
Right. So if you comp it at 310.
Right.
Was that with a new bathroom? Is that with a new bedroom? I'm sorry, new kitchen,
Yeah,
new
you
bathroom?
would, you would
Okay.
probably want to put the new kitchen in
All right.
for that comp. But it was something that I definitely wanted to explore because just from online you couldn't really tell whether or not it would be a good deal. So after kind of looking through and everything, we figured that if you could get it for maybe $205, it might be worth doing.
So what did you think? What did you guys estimate it would cost to renovate it?
Well, to just kind of renovate it and slap someone, put a renter in there
Sure.
without upgrading the kitchen and the bathroom and everything. It was about 20.
Okay, and to do it the correct way.
To do it the correct way, you're probably closer to between 40 and 60.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're looking
Right.
at. So you're looking at buying the property for what was it? 230.
It was listed for 230.
Okay. So
something.
230 plus 60.
Right.
That's 290, right? And if
Right.
it comps at 310, you might as well just buy a new one at 310. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Because you don't have to go through the hassle.
Exactly.
So that's why it's not necessarily a good deal. But then if you
Right.
start to look at the price that you said at 205, yeah, you're getting a lot closer. There's still now if you're going to flip that one, it's not a great deal if you're going to flip it. I know you want to rent
Right.
anyway, and if you can get those kind of rents, now I also think that the rent was too low. And here's the deal: so if you put in the 60, and you got if you bought it for 205, you put in 60, it's 265. You still got to rent it for a minimum of 2,600 just to meet the 10%. I'm sorry, the 1% rule.
rule.
And for you guys who don't know what the 1% rule is, you want to look for a rent that's a minimum of 1% of the total purchase price plus renovations of the property. So in his case, it would be about 265, and he'd have to rent it for at least $2,600 just to make it even palatable.
Right.
So I don't know if it's a good deal even at those numbers. But then you asked me to call the real estate agent because I was, I'm the real estate agent here, and I called the real estate agent, and he actually said he turned down $5,000 less than full asking price earlier in the day.
Oh.
So he's expecting to rent it. Now, here's the thing. He's expecting to sell it. Most likely the person who's buying it is not a investor. It's probably somebody who wants to live in the area,
Right.
wants to buy a house and renovate it while they live there. Because did it look like you could live in it?
Yeah, you could live in it. You would need to clean it up pretty much, and then, I mean, flooring. It has the nice hardwood floors, but they're all messed up. So you could either refinish those floors or just throw. If you wanted to move in and live in it, you could put rugs down and live in it.
Yeah. So what typically happens then, you're competing as an investor. You're competing with everyday buyers, people who want to move into the house. And look, the people who want to move into the houses are going to pay more.
Right.
They're silly, but they want to pay more, and that's what happens. By the way, if anybody wants to call in, 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Feel free to call in, ask us any questions. And by the way, if you're watching online, you can leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. A couple of people checking in online. We got Phil checking in online. We got Peter checking in online. Peter says your house sounded like it was a Levittown house. It's not, but it's funny because I agree with you, Peter. It does sound like a Levittown house. Now, there was a lot of Levittown houses a long time ago that all needed to be renovated, rebought and renovated. But now they're killing it.
Yeah.
You used to buy a Levittown, I forget what the model numbers, there's like 4 models, and I forgot what it was, but you used to be able to buy them for $75,000 to $95,000, renovate them for $30,000, and sell them for $200,000. Now you're buying the junky ones, the one that you used to buy for $75,000 to $100,000. Now you're paying almost $200,000 for each one of those.
Well, what will that be next year or the year after?
Wow, so that's kind of a loaded question
It's
because
loaded, but with
I mean-
everything that is happening, if it continues to happen the way that it is,
yeah. So the real question is real estate going up or down?
Right.
Would that be your question?
right?
Yeah. So
I say down.
yeah,
It's
down,
going
but
down over the
but
next
not.
year or two.
It's not going to be like a giant jump in the next 2 years, but it's going to be people are going to suffer, and and it's going to be tough because if somebody's going to buy a house, maybe they pay $200,000 for it, and it'll probably be worth $180,000, and they won't be able to move. So if they have a mortgage, especially if they have an FHA mortgage, which lets them put down no money, and maybe they put down $3,000 because you could put down a minimum. Actually, in this case, it would be a minimum of $6,000, and you put that down, and you owe more than the house is worth, then you can't move. Right. So if they need to move for a job, or they get divorced, or they decide they don't want to live there anymore, they're stuck in those houses. And these are the people that I love to help because I can help them. I can buy their house for full price for what they owe in the mortgage without them being affected. So they could actually come to me. I would be able to buy the house. I'd actually take over their mortgage payment is what I would do. And then they no longer have to worry about the house anymore, and they can go move somewhere else if they want to. So I do that a lot, and especially with what's coming. And it's my favorite way to buy houses. It's called Subject to, buying houses subject to the mortgage. It's my favorite way to buy houses. And if you want to learn how to do that, when you learn how to do this, first of all, it's going to be amazing. But if you want to learn how to do it, go to investorschooling.com investorschooling.com. You could sign up for a class for this Thursday. And by the way, what do we do with those classes? If somebody comes up for free, what do we try to sell them?
We sell them nothing at Thursday night.
We sell them nothing Thursday night. We don't even, if you came up to me, handed me a credit card and said, I want to sign up for classes, I won't even let you. Because I want you to experience other things first in the classes, because I want you to make sure that this is something you want to do. And at the same time, I just want to take people's money and have them fail.
Right.
I want to make sure that they really are going to do this, because it's not in my best interest to take somebody's money and then have them fail. It's in my best interest. We now have like 165 five-star Google reviews.
Something like that.
And you know why we have 165 five-star Google reviews?
Why do we have 165?
Because everybody who comes to our school likes us. That's why.
I think it is.
That's exactly right.
Well, I also think it has to do with the amount of students that are having success.
Absolutely.
And they like us because they're making money.
That's right. Oh, and we can't guarantee your success.
Right.
We can only guarantee we're going to teach you how to be successful.
Right.
And if you use that knowledge, the chances of you being successful are pretty high.
Yeah.
So that's what's nice about it. So in anything we teach you that. And also paying less taxes. How about paying less taxes? Did you notice that you're paying less taxes now?
I did.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's pretty wild when you tell your accountant and you say, "Listen, I did this year," and he goes, "Oh, that's a really good idea."
But Larry, we're not accountants or attorneys. But
I love it when I tell my accountant I did something different this year, because I teach all this stuff, and of course I'm always learning. I'm always learning new stuff to teach. Like one of the things that most people don't know is that you can buy a house in your IRA.
And I think you're about to buy a house in your IRA.
I'm about to buy my first house in IRA because I have never done it before, but I know how to do it. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it, and I felt like it was time to take the opportunity. But here's the really cool part about buying a house in your IRA. At my age is 58. So as long as I'm buying it with a Roth IRA, not a regular IRA, but a Roth IRA, and as long as the IRA has been open for 5 years, which it has been, here's the really cool part. At 59 and a half years old, if I collect the rent from that IRA, right? So the rent goes into the IRA. Let's say it's $2,000 a month rent. I put it into the IRA and I take it back out. It's tax-free.
Right, because you're taking your distribution from the.
Right.
You're not taking the rent from the house. You're taking the distribution from my IRA, but the money is actually going back into your IRA and replenishing the distribution. Right. So the amount of your IRA is not even going down. Not going down.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can now if you figure that out, so most people, if you're under 50, you can put $6,000 a year into an IRA. If you're over 50, you can put $7,000 into an IRA, an extra $1,000 for, they call it the catch-up. But if you're a real estate investor like me and you want to be able to put more money into your IRA every year, you can do that by buying a house and putting the rents into the IRA. Instead of taking the rent and using and spending it, you can now put the rent into the IRA, and you can put unlimited money in your IRA, unlimited, as long as it goes through something that has to do with an investment, like a house.
Right.
That's a cool piece of knowledge.
You're not the one putting the money in the IRA. The renter is paying the rent,
correct,
which is the investment.
Right.
So it's just as if you had a stock that went up, and they
correct,
sold the stock within the IRA.
Correct.
Or if any other kind of investment, a stock pays a dividend in an IRA.
Right. If the stock pays a dividend, right, the dividend going into the IRA. Exactly. That's a perfect example.
Right.
However, I'm going to get a lot more money in rent than I'm going to get in a dividend.
Exactly.
In most cases.
Exactly.
So it's actually pretty cool. It's actually a really cool way to work around the system and get the system to work for you. By the way, I also know ways if you make too much money and you can't contribute to a Roth IRA, I can teach you how to do that too. So that's all. By the way, it's all in my book. You know that, right?
That's right. Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse.
Come on,
do you like that radio?
Go for it. Go for it.
Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. It comes out officially on July 18th, but you can pre-order a copy at Amazon.com and I think also at Barnes & Noble. And if you show Larry the receipt that you ordered his book, he will sign one for you and give it to you, and then you will have that copy along with the copy that comes next month.
And then you'll have two copies.
And you can read it twice.
Yeah, and matter of fact, I suggest you read it 10 times because there's so much knowledge in it. It's pretty much a 50-foot overview of everything we teach at Investor Schooling. A lot of good stuff in there.
There is.
Did you read it, right?
Yeah.
What'd you like? What was your favorite chapter?
The chapter where you talk about my book. But
that's right, I forgot about that.
No, 33 Beliefs by Paul Marturano.
Oh, yeah,
Go to 33beliefs.com and order 33 Beliefs by Paul Marturano. Anyway, No, my favorite chapter I think is it's probably the one, just the one on credit and credit cards. I mean, it's funny when I was first started getting credit cards in college. I used to, they'd have the 0% balance transfer thing that you could do.
Yeah.
And I used to do that, and I would deposit it into my savings account and make like 2% on. I mean, this was back in the 90s. I made like 2% on it, but I was doing it back like similar things to what the book says back then. Of course, we're not going to put it in a savings account now. We're going to, use that money to buy a house or invest in the stock market. But I was kind of doing that back then. But then once I came here, I saw a bigger picture with everything.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, it's interesting because it doesn't work anymore. They used to do it. They used to have no fees. So you'd write the 0% check. Let's say you wrote a check for $5,000 because when you were out of college, you weren't getting 30, you were getting 5, right?
Right.
And you deposit into a checking account, or not a checking account, a savings account, and you deposit it for 1 month.
Right.
And you get 1 month's worth of interest on your $5,000. Maybe it was $100.
Sure.
Right. And then you pay back the credit card, and you just made $100 with somebody else's money.
Right.
That was great when they used to do that all the time because they had the 0%. The checks had no fees.
Right, but
now of course, the fees make it impossible to do it. You know why they put the fees in, right?
Because you were making money off their money.
Yeah, because people knew people were figuring that out. Exactly. All right. Hey, by the way, Glenn out there is saying great program, Larry. He's not saying great program, Paul. He's saying great program, Larry.
Well, that's because it's your program.
Oh, is that it?
If he wanted to listen to my program, he would need to listen to.
Go ahead, you could advertise your program.
Listen to WWDB at 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow.
Which, by the way, our show re-airs tomorrow at 3, ends at 4, and then they can change the channel.
That's right. They
right.
can.
And then you can listen to my other program on WWDB at 7:30 every morning.
That's right.
That's called Money Chat Now.
That's right.
So we're actually pretty radio oriented, aren't we?
All over the place. Hey, we do live shows too. You can come to a live investor schooling class on Thursday night. But then this Friday, if you want to hear some music, you can come see me at the Green Parrot in Newtown, Pennsylvania from 8 to 12. Me and an excellent drummer, Frank Ramon, will be playing there. I think Larry's coming out. A whole bunch of investor schooling people will be out there. We're going to have a big party at the Green Parrot in Newtown, Pennsylvania, Friday, June 17th from 8 to 12 p.m.
And if you've never heard Paul play the piano, you'll be very surprised that this guy who got this crazy personality can play the piano as well as he can. I actually think he plays it better than Elton John.
Oh, well, thank you very much. We know what Gilbert Godfrey says about that.
Yeah. Let's not go there. Not on my show.
You played the commercial last time. All right, but no, it's basically it's going to be an all request show, sing along, classic rock, whatever you want to request. We'll have fun.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk about something else. This is Larry Steinhouse.
All right, you're clear.
right, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, I just wanted to you guys know that last commercial, the one that had Mick on it, talking about how he made money, doubled his money. That actually, I don't know if you guys know it. If you guys were listening a couple of weeks ago, Mick actually called in to this show, and we took that recording of that show, and that's what we made that commercial out of, because that was just such a great testimonial. And we have dozens and dozens and dozens of testimonials just like that, including even Paul. But just so you guys know, if you want to call in, 855-939-1137. If you're a student, you want to call in and give us a testimonial, that'd be great. And if you're curious, or if you just want to have fun, if you're sitting in your car because it's a rainy day and you want to call somebody and you want to just talk to somebody, you can do that too. 855-939-1137, because clearly that's what Peter did. Peter had to be bored. That whole conversation, it was exciting and fun, but that whole conversation was, "Hi, I'm bored. I think I'll call a radio show and talk to the host."
I think that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I think that's right. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. All right, cool. All right, you guys, what else? What else we got? Something cool, right? Let's talk about something cool.
That was really actually Christopher Walken. It was not Peter.
It wasn't?
It was not.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I want to talk about something. My girlfriend texted me and said I look sexy on the radio.
I'm not even sure how to
I don't
go
know.
with that.
I guess that she means on Facebook.
agree.
But
Yeah,
thank you, Glenn.
Glenn,
I appreciate that, Glenn.
Think about how funny that is. He looks sexy on the radio. I've heard the expression, you have a
That's
face
right.
for radio.
That's right. You have a
But
face for it. It
really?
means the opposite.
Right.
It means the opposite.
Yeah. I'm
But
not
in her
even
case, she's
sure.
watching on Facebook.
Oh, is
so
that what it is? Okay.
That's right.
All right. You want to say hello to her? Go
I
ahead.
do. Hi, honey. I love you.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's so sweet.
Oh,
Look,
isn't
my
that
honey's
sweet?
watching too.
That's right.
Hi, Linda. I love you too.
I know you say that every morning on WWDB.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. Because I run out of the house when she's sleeping because I got to get up at 4
Hi,
o'clock in
Linda.
the
I
morning.
love you too.
Hey, stop that.
All right. So, why don't we talk about more financial stuff, Harry?
All right. So what's
We
the
got-
most best? What is the
The
best?
most best? The bestest? The bestest, mostest?
The the hugest thing you learned from investor schooling.
The huge. I think it's just how I move money and use it in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I use the same money for different things, and it's all legal. It's interesting because
It's all legal. That's really funny.
Oh, that's it.
No, what do you think?
No, it's all. I mean, it's all the.
It's
But
it's
when
amazing,
someone
right?
says, "Hey, I'm using the same money for different things," people think, "Oh, well, that can't be legal." But no, the way that I move money, like
Right.
like
So you move.
I always
You
talk
take
about-
$100,000.
Sure.
And you could take the same $100,000 and invest it in 4 different places at the same time,
in a way, yes,
and not 25,000, 25,000, 25,000. I'm talking about the same 100,000 each time, which is pretty wild that
In
you
a
can
way.
do that, and we teach you how to do that.
right. So should I give an example?
Sure, if you,
An example.
maybe if you could do
Kind
it
of.
without-
I think I can kind of do. I
right.
think I can kind of formulate how I'm doing this. But one of the things that we do is whole life insurance as
Sure.
a bank, which
Yeah.
was explained by Brian Kessler. So I let's do it with 25,000. Say I take $25,000, I put it into the whole life insurance policy, then I borrow back from the whole life insurance policy, but it's still invested and it's still growing
Right.
in the life insurance policy. Then maybe I'll pay down. Like one of the first things I did was I moved a bunch of money through life insurance. I paid down a huge portion of my mortgage, and then at the end of the year I got a HELOC on that. So now that money is available to me. So I took that money, and that's at like 4%, and I did a deal where I was the lender and the bank for actually one of the students on a deal, and I'm making 10% on that money. But that's actually the way that's actually where I'm going to make more than that because it's being paid off early, and there was a certain number of months of interest that had to be paid on the loan, and then we're going to do it again on another property. So it's all the same money though that's just moving
Yeah.
in
It's wild,
different ways, and that's kind
the
of the
same money you put into the first account that
Right.
you just keep moving it into other accounts, and you keep
Right.
borrowing it and making money while you're borrowing it. And every time you make more money, not only do you make money 4 or 5 different times on the same money,
right.
but you also but you're also making money on that money, but you're also lending that money out, or you're investing that other money and making
Right.
money on that money.
Sure.
It's wild. When you start to see this,
And then you
start to
add some
understand it,
0% credit cards in too, where you pay the 2 or 3% fee, and you have that for
And
so
you-
long.
yeah,
You
sure.
move it through everything. So it's just using money. I'd say it's using money smarter way of
so
using
you
money.
probably just scared everybody who's listening going,
That's right.
I don't want to put all that money on credit. You don't have to, by the way.
You don't have
But the weird part is when you learn these techniques, it'll blow your mind. It'll absolutely blow your mind. All right, we got Kevin. What's going on, Kevin? How can we talk to you? How can we help you?
Hey, how's it going? I got a question. You were talking just a few minutes ago about utilizing IRAs to purchase properties and kind of realize some gains that way. But I have two young boys, and I'm looking to obviously plan for college and other needs of theirs. And someone had mentioned to me that some folks use IRAs as a vehicle, as kind of like a 529 plan, but utilize an IRA to do basically the same thing. And it allows a lot more flexibility in terms of withdrawals and retaining like kind of ownership of the money in the event the child doesn't use it. So I was hoping to get some insight on that if you had any about kind of the best approach maybe for planning for children's education, but also potential other expenses, cars, books, whatever it may be.
All right, you ready? In almost every case,
I'm ready.
The 529 is the absolute worst thing you can use. In almost every case. Okay? Now, in almost every case, the greatest thing you can do, but you have to do a little bit of finagling on this, and I'll explain what it is. The greatest thing to use is a Roth IRA for your children. Now, in order for them to contribute into the Roth IRA, you can contribute up to $6,000 a year. Your children have to have an income. So the first thing you want to do is you want to hire your children. Now, everybody misses this one. This is the most fantastic way to save money in taxes. So any chance you have a business, Kevin?
I don't know.
Okay, so you need to get a business. You need to open up an LLC. You need to get a business. I don't care if it's shoveling snow in the wintertime. It doesn't matter, right? And I don't care if you have one client. As long as you could justify paying your children for doing something, it could be. And it's funny because some people make the joke that my kid was shredding papers the other day, and I had to pay him. So you could pay your children up to $12,900 per year. Now, $12,900 per year happens to also be the standard deduction, which means that if you make $12,900, if anybody makes $12,900, or the first $12,900 of everyone's income in the United States is tax-free, technically. So if you pay your children up to $12,900 a year, and you have a business, you run your money through the business, so you put $12,900 to pay your children, that's a tax deduction from your business. It's also tax-free to your children. Now, you're going to take that money because, again, remember that money is going to your children. Maybe you open an account, and because your children are under 18, you are the custodian of that money. So you're going to take that money, and you're going to take $6,000 of it, you're going to put it into a Roth IRA in your child's name, and you're the custodian of it, okay? Then you're going to take the rest of the money, what's left of it, the $6,900, and whatever your kids need, such as clothing or maybe food or maybe an Xbox or whatever it is, and you're going to use that money, or bicycle, I don't care, whatever, even a car. You're going to take that money and you're going to buy that stuff for your kids with their money. Now, everything that they bought is tax deductible to you up to $12,900 a year. And now getting back to the college, that Roth IRA can be used obviously for retirement, as you know, and all the money you take out of it is tax-free. But it also has a rule that says that you can use that money for college too. So you're going to use that money for their college. And now, if they don't go to college, they just keep the money, you keep it in there, and it goes into their retirement if you want to, or they can use it later on for something else. But that's the greatest way to do it. And if you want to even take the rest of the money, maybe you take it's called a Coverdell, which is actually an education savings account, ESA, and you can put up to $2,000 a year into that. You might want to do that as well as a supplement to the Roth IRA. I actually do a full presentation on this. Actually, this one's a really long one because I do all the different taxes. I do an hour-and-a-half presentation on how to save money on all of these methods, not just this one, HSAs, ESAs, Roth IRAs, self-directed IRAs, how to do this and how to make money in IRAs. But did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. The only clarification I would ask is, I guess the example that you outlined would not be as applicable to, say, me having an Roth IRA in my own name as opposed to putting it in theirs? Because right now I do have a Roth IRA in my name, and that's kind of where I was initially considering doing this through my own IRA. But the example you laid out was putting one in theirs.
Right, and you definitely want to do that. That's the absolute best way to do it, is to put it in their name. Because don't forget, it's tax deductible to you.
Okay.
I know it
Great.
sounds complicated,
Thank you.
but it's actually really, really easy. It's just one of those things where, it's a different mindset. I mean, like my book. My book is called Money Hacks, because everything you think you know about money is wrong, and most people have no clue that you can do this. And these are the things that we teach at Investor Schooling. You should come by one day, because I promise you that the questions you're not asking are the ones that are even more important.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was very helpful.
You got it, man. I'm hoping I will see you at a Thursday night. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up. We also have Robert. What's going on, Robert?
Hey, Larry, I really just love your book.
Thanks, man.
It's incredible. I have just learned so much. I find it kind of hard to get through because I keep going back and rereading stuff. I already formed my LLC, and paperwork will be completed on that June 23rd. Actually registered it in the state of Florida, where I have an investment home.
That's cool.
So again, just wanted to thank you for just this incredible book. And I'm a teacher, 27 years in. And so I'm hoping this summer, I'll have a little bit more free time. I'd like to come check your class out one evening.
Oh, you definitely should.
And yeah, definitely. So my question is, my wife and I bought a foreclosure home in Burlington City about 6 years ago.
Okay.
Got it for $61,000. My daughter, son-in-law, and grandchild lived there for 5 years. They didn't pay me any rent, which was fine because it was $61,000. It was so freaking cheap.
Yeah, sure.
We put like $30,000 into it, and we sold it last summer for $196,000.
Oh boy! And you just got your tax bill, and you were like, "Oh, I should have called Larry first."
Actually, I have a really good accountant, and we took that home and that money rather, and we bought a home last August for cash in Florida, Weeki Wachee, Florida. I'd never heard of it until I was down there. Yeah, pretty cool. It's kind of like more toward the Gulf and the western portion of the country, so there's not in our state rather. So there's not really like the hurricane risk that there is in other parts of Florida. But anyway, so we put a HELOC on the home we have in Burlington Township.
Excellent.
We had paid that mortgage off last summer. Put a HELOC on the place in Burlington, and then that made it so we could buy the place in Florida for cash.
That's great.
My in-laws are in their 80s, and they're living there now. And
they're living in the house in
Dad
Burlington.
just cuts the grass. Yeah, okay. And so after I retire, the thinking is sell the house in Burlington Township, then we'll own the place in Florida, free and clear.
Okay.
I also checked out the Money Machine with Brent the chiropractor.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
that's incredible. I've got an appointment with him next Thursday.
That's great.
So, this little book you have is incredible, and I can't wait to sit in your class and just learn more, man.
And so you heard about the book on the radio then? You've never been here?
Never.
Cool.
And I was listening to you, and I can't remember the other guy you're normally with.
Who cares about him anyway?
You had him make houses beautiful.
Yeah, Phil.
Right.
Phil. Yeah, Phil.
Yeah, Phil Falcone, that's it. Yeah.
Phil has since left, but actually, it's great. The book. I tell you, I've gotten great reviews in the book, and I appreciate yours as well. That's fantastic. But keep going. You're going to find some more stuff in there that you didn't even know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the stock market now, and I got a little sidetracked because now I'm doing the money multiplier.
Okay.
And I'm studying up on that. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I just got me out of a really bad possible investment too.
I hate when that happens.
Turned out to be heavily loaded in annuities, and I mean, I just kind of got that sense from reading your book, and I knew the right questions to ask, and I avoided that that pitfall too. So, can't wait to meet you later this summer.
I'm looking forward to meeting you too, Robert. That's really nice. Really nice. I really appreciate the call. That was great. So, if you guys, anybody out there wants to order, go to barnesandnoble.com. You can look up Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse and order the book. You actually probably had it on Kindle or Nook, right?
I got it on Nook.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because it's available now on Nook and Kindle, but the actual copy of the book is not available until July. But you can pre-order the copy of the book. In fact, I'll tell you what, Robert. If you come to me and you show me that you bought the book, I'll even give you an autographed copy.
That is awesome. Because I'll tell you what, I've told like 10 teachers at work about this book, and they're all trying to get it.
Oh, that's great!
Like, I have to order it.
That's great.
Bring them to class.
Yeah, if you ever want to, I could actually
do.
If you get at least a dozen people in a room, I could do a presentation for them at your school if that's something that they would want to do.
That'd be awesome.
Cool. All right, man. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you this summer, and thanks again for the great words. All right, Paul.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. That means see that your marketing's working. People are reading the book.
I just have to say, since I am the marketing guy, Mike, we want to pull out that book testimonial and use that. But
I'm thinking you already thought about that.
I want to go back to Kevin talking about college.
Yeah.
And tell me if my thinking is right on this. But with the money multiplier, couldn't you use that for college?
Yes, you can.
But here's the thing. On top of that, it's a loan from an insurance company. So you know how colleges, they look at all your assets and everything for financial aid. I don't think they look at. Do they look at life insurance?
No,
they don't look at life. Right. So if you actually do it that way and do a whole life insurance loan, you can actually get more financial aid and still have the money growing. Well, and then you could still do the Roth IRA on top of it anyway.
That's actually a great point. So the point that Paul's making is when you go for financial aid for your children, they're going to look at your children's assets, they're going to look at your assets, but there are certain assets that don't count. One of them is your primary residence, and the other one is any cash value you have in life insurance. So these are great. So it's a great place to bury money. I see, and I don't know. I don't care what people think about whole life insurance. I mean, it's funny because you get the guys like Dave Ramsey, don't ever buy whole life insurance, and that's not true. There are many reasons that you shouldn't, but if you're using a whole life insurance policy for all the ways that you should, you don't even have a clue on how many things you could do. You can hide money in it. You can borrow money out of it. You could. I mean,
well, it's a specific type of policy, though. It's just not.
It's got to be a mutual insurance company paying dividends. That's the kind of policy that you're looking for, not a universal life policy, not an IUL or whatever the heck it's called. You don't want those. You want an actual regular cash value building dividend paying life insurance policy. The only way it works. But here's the thing: if you're listening to this and you want to go call your insurance agent and say, "Hey, can you sell me one of these policies?" They don't know anything about it. Okay, you have to go to somebody who understands it. I know, Robert just mentioned Brent Kessler, who I write about in my book. The guy who we often have him at our school talking about this, and I wrote about him. It's funny because I just find it so funny because he's chapter 13. So if you read chapter 13 of my book.
Who's chapter 11?
I can't remember which, but that is pretty funny. Or chapter 7, right? Wait, hold on. We got chapter. Let me see if I can find it. We've got. Hold on here. I got to find the table of contents. It's in front of me here.
How many different chapters are there?
There's 22 chapters in this book. It's crazy. So I don't know where my table of contents is. That's really funny. Table of contents. There we go. All right. So you would think the table of contents would be in the front of the book, right?
Right.
That's exactly where it was.
Oh my God.
So chapter 7 is the truth about credit scores. That's fitting. Chapter 11 is how to buy a house with credit cards. That's fitting too. And then chapter 13 is be your own bank. That's very, very funny, actually. So, but it is what it is. What are you going to do?
Sure.
So we have 22 chapters in that book, and there's so many different things in that book. I mean, I tell you, here's the funny part too. My accountant actually tells me that if you buy the book, it could be tax deductible if you use anything in the book to make money, which is very funny. I mean, it's a $20 book. It's like, how much of a tax deduction is it going to be, which is really funny. All right. So what do you think, Paul? Any questions you got something on?
What do I think?
About what?
About anything?
About anything.
I think I'm going to make I almost said a word I can't say
know,
on the radio.
I know. I was watching you make that word. I'm like, no, don't do it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to make a lot of money this year using the techniques in that book.
You're going to make a lot of e-money?
That's right.
A lot of e-money?
E-money.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of people out there making a lot of e-money from my book. All right, cool. All right, so we did a section the other day. I actually did something on Thursday where I taught people how to pay their mortgages off in 13 years without using any extra money.
Right.
That the whole audience was blown away. They were on the edge of their seat watching this. Sure. This is a system. I mean, I can't explain it over the radio because first of all, it took me an hour, maybe a little over an hour, to explain it the other day. But if you ever want to, I was showing people how to save. I think the example I used was a $300,000 mortgage.
Right.
And how to save. You could save. It was something like $150,000 worth of interest.
Right. Well, actually the thing that's mind blowing that most people don't know is when you have a 5% interest rate on your mortgage, how much interest are you really paying?
Yeah, you're paying the first year. Was it 77%?
Sure.
I think it's 77% interest the first year
over the course of the loan. It's ridiculous. It's more like 50% or 60%.
Yeah, it was something like 50%, right?
It's because of the way it's amortized.
Exactly. And most people don't realize that the number it's based on is your interest rate that they tell you, the APR. But when you actually figure out how much interest you pay for your mortgage, sometimes it's over 100% if their interest rate's high enough.
Right.
I remember there were times where you look at your car loan. So even your car loan over 5 years, sometimes you're paying, maybe half the amount of the car back in interest. So we teach you how to save that money as well. That's a lot, but we teach you how to save that money as well. It's amazing how people just don't understand how banking really works. Banks love to lend money. They love to lend money because what they do, they go to Paul. Paul gives them $100,000, and he gets his 0.5% interest or whatever, half percent interest on his $100,000, and they lend that money out to somebody else, and they get 6 or 7% interest. Now you think they get 6 or 7% interest, but they don't. They get a whole lot more than 6 or 7% interest because when they lend that money out, they're getting all these payments from the people, and the payments are very, very high. They're mostly interest payments. Mm-hmm. That's why amortization schedules are great for banks and terrible for consumers.
Yeah.
Right. And once you understand an amortization schedule, and once you understand how you can make the amortization schedule work for you, it's amazing how much money you can save. I sit there, I have tons of properties, and I sit there and I rerun my amortization schedule on my properties consistently because I'm trying to figure out the best way to save payments and save interest and also have my properties paid off. Most mortgages, if you do a couple of simple things, you can have most mortgages paid off in less than half the time. And you're going to save, it's not half the interest you save, it's an enormous amount of interest that you're going to save because of it. We did an example the other day where the interest rate, the total interest, I think it actually went down from $160,000 to $50,000 total. I think it was something like that, but it's amazing how quickly you can do this. And as a student from investor schooling, you could come to me with your mortgage, and I will run the numbers, and I'll show you how you can save the money. And we had Trevor here last week. Trevor here was talking about that too, about how to pay future payments and save interest on the mortgage. And all you do is pay next month payment early, not the whole payment, just the interest, the principal only payment. You make that payment early, and you can. I don't know. The numbers were fascinating. It was like 14 years. You pay the mortgage off in 14 years instead of 30 if you pay next month's principal payment in advance. All right, real quick, because I only got a couple of seconds left to talk about the stock market. I'm going to say this. I hate the stock market.
Me too.
And the only other thing I could say is let's go Brandon, because holy cow, this stock market is insane. He's killing us. I mean, this inflation is unbelievable. I did not expect inflation to be that high. I thought it would come in. I thought it would come in what Wall Street's expectation or slightly below. It went higher, which is insane. Of course, if you put in gas, that makes sense, but everything else is going up too. I mean, I just didn't expect it. Sure enough, the Dow closes down 800 points. Now, I've been saying this for a while. If you regularly listen to any of my other show, I've been saying that the current range of the Dow is 31,000 to 33,000. Sure enough, it hit 33,000, and then it tumbled down from there, which means now it's only got a little way to go to get to the bottom again, which is 31,000. However, that range is going to move down in about 6 weeks from now. Not now, so it's still going to be 31 to 33, but 6 weeks from now, it's going to be 28 to 31.
Even with earnings coming up?
That's why. Because after 6 weeks from now, we're going to have earnings is coming in 6 weeks. The next 6 weeks is earnings,
Okay.
and after earnings, we're going to the Dow is going to move down. So watch this. I actually predict by the end of the year this Dow will be trading in a range of somewhere between 27 and 29, possibly 26 and 28. So just watch for this, and you can actually see it. I've watched these numbers. I'm watching several stocks, and I'm watching them all go back to pre-pandemic levels, not pre-pandemic, pre-pandemic, which is right around 2018, 2019 numbers. So if you have stocks, and if you're investing in stocks, just know the likelihood that they're going to go back to those numbers. So if you want to look at the old numbers, those are what you're going to be going back to. You can buy puts if you want to. You can short stocks if you want to, or just know that you're going to be going back down to those numbers. Unfortunately, things like CCL, which I'm heavily loaded in, Carnival Cruise Lines, is killing me right now because I'm expecting it also to go back to pre-pandemic, but it's not. It's going the other way. All right, so we got about 30 seconds. I want to remind you all to go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class. I also want to thank my in-house producer. I might get his name right, Mike Kuiper. Yay, I got it right. And our producer, of course, at PHT, Glenn Page. Glenn Page is awesome, man. And Glenn got a copy of my book, too, and he's going to tell you next week about how he likes it because there's no time. Did you like it, Glenn? Quick.
Loved it.
All right, cool. Go to investorschooling.com, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Thanks so much for listening.
See ya.